Everybody, good to see you. This is the premiere episode of David Caruso Live on Facebook. And I'm so excited because I see a lot of you already joining us. So a big shout out to Cindy, two Cindys, good to see you. Adam, of course, Jessica Jacobs from the Fister, good to see you as well. So I know people are gathering, and I've heard some great excitement around our guests for the next couple of days. And I am so excited for these conversations. You know, I really, during this quarantine time, have been thinking there's so many interesting people that I don't get to see anymore right now, and really interesting stories, people doing great things, spreading joy, dealing with the pandemic in so many clever, creative, and innovative ways that I thought I'm sure we all want to talk to them and hear more of their story. And hearing it live and in person over a virtual camera is even better. So enjoy your time. These are going to be probably about 30-minute conversations. And today we are starting with Alex Lasry, who I'm going to introduce in just a second. I also want to let you know that because there are so many cool people in our city, that I decided to add a fun guest on the end of each day. And today is Dave Sobelman from Sobelman Pub and Grill. I know we all love those pub burgers and Bloody Marys and all the good stuff that his team is offering. So we can't wait to chat with him. Stick around for that conversation after Alex. So let's get started. Thank you all. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. Sarah Nordby. Good to see you also. Thanks, everybody, for joining. So we're going to get started with our conversation. As I said, first guest of David Caruso Live is Alex Lasry. Many of us know Alex as the Senior VP of the Milwaukee Bucks, Go Bucks, and also the Finance Chair of the DNC 2020 Committee. So Alex is going to come into stream with us now, and we are just excited to have him join me. I'm going to make sure that he's Alex. Hold on, here he comes. There he is. Hey, Alex.
Hey, David. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a pleasure. You know, when I started this, I thought right away that you were the first person I wanted to talk to. So I really appreciate you being with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. The sun's finally out, so that makes up for some of the rainy days we've had recently.
That is so true. I know today after this, I'm excited to go take a walk around and enjoy the sun finally. So where are we chatting with you from? Are you in the Third Ward, or where are you at?
No, I actually I don't trust Spectrum enough, so I came into the office
Oh, nice.
to make sure that I had good enough Wi-Fi to be able to listen and participate.
Awesome. So, Alex, you know, one of the things that I, at least personally, I know so many others, you know, it's kind of like all of a sudden this awesome guy landed in Milwaukee and started doing great things. But I think that many people don't really know kind of the backstory. So maybe to start off, just kind of in a nutshell, a few little highlights of what your personal story is. And before we start talking about your journey here in Milwaukee, what kind of led you to us here in our city?
So the traditional story, father buying a basketball team and coming to work for it. So I actually, so I when I graduated from college, I moved to DC to go work in the Obama administration, and I was Valerie Jarrett's deputy chief of staff for 2 years, working directly with Mike Straumanis, who is now the director of public engagement for the Obama Foundation. Had worked there for 2 years and thought I'd go to business school. So I went to NYU, went back to New York, and had kind of envisioned, when Hillary announced that she was going to run for president, that I would probably join her campaign. And then while I was at business school, we had the opportunity to buy the Bucks, and when that opportunity kind of came, that moved pretty quickly and a lot faster than I think I had expected. And uh, when that was happening, I was talking with my dad about, he was saying someone from the family had to live in Milwaukee because, we wanted to show our commitment. We were going to build a new arena and try to remake the team, and we needed to show that we had roots there. So I looked at him and I said, "Great, which one of us is going to move?" And he said, "We can flip a coin, but either way, it's you going out there." So uh, I was excited though because it's kind of always been a dream to work in sports, and especially basketball. I grew up playing and still play. And since I moved to Milwaukee, like being able to make this place my home has just been absolutely incredible.
Wow.
It's an incredible city that I think anytime any of my friends or anyone comes to visit, they see I think all the greatness that Milwaukee is.
Yeah, I think that's just a really cool story. So many interesting parts that led you here to Milwaukee. And I showed a little picture of you that I think was in the Oval Office with President
Yeah.
Obama. And, just like kind of ordinary for your family to buy a sports team, it's kind of ordinary for someone to be in the Oval Office. Just kidding. But
That,
what is that like? That's such a rare
oh,
opportunity. So what does
so
that feel like?
that was actually that was my second time ever in the Oval Office. That was my departure
Wow.
photo. So I think
Okay.
there's also a few pictures of me and my whole family there. So that was my final week in the White House. And
Wow.
we were able to schedule a photo with the president where my family came in. And earlier that day, we went bowling in the White House. So I got the White House bowling alley. We got to do
Wow.
that. And then we actually we had a basketball that I had bought at the White House gift shop. And when
Hmm.
we turned the corner and the president saw us, he like looked at it and he goes, "Oh, we're not going out to shoot hoops, right?" We were like, "No,
Oh,
sir."
wow.
And he goes, "Do you want me to sign that?" And I go, "If you wouldn't mind." And he goes, "Yeah, all right." And so he then brought us into the Oval. We were able to take a photo, and every time I now look at that picture, I love the place I'm in. I hate the suit I'm in. I think
Your
as
style
we
has improved.
as we always get older, the style changes. But yeah, I mean, like, look, working in the White House was an absolute dream come true. I was in my early 20s, and I didn't think you'd find a job better. It was
Yeah.
fast paced. There was something new every day. You were kind of at the center of everything that was going on, especially in politics and in policy. And so it was really just it was an honor of a lifetime, especially to be able to serve a president that has inspired me um, and that I respected so much, and
Yeah.
that you kind of always knew every day, even if there were people who didn't agree with him, you always knew that he was at least there to do what he thought was right, and was going to serve the office honorably and with respect. And it was just it was really a privilege to work there and with all the people I got to work with.
Wow, that's so exciting. And it is so neat to hear the story, especially I agree with a president like Obama. I mean, those are unbelievable memories, and we really appreciate you sharing some of them. And that basketball, I hope you got that in a good case somewhere. That's a
I have it
good
in a
thing to
case in
have.
my living room. I have it signed by Obama, and we got Bill Clinton to sign it. So it's where, yeah,
Awesome.
it was really cool, and like it was just such an awesome experience just being able to be there and work there.
Nice. So from the White House to Milwaukee,
Hmm.
life here in Milwaukee, a little bit different pace. And actually, you coming here and your family and the Bucks and so many other things associated with what you're doing here has really changed so many things. But what was kind of your first impression of our city when you first arrived?
When I first moved here, I didn't know a ton about Milwaukee. I knew, I've always been a big sports fan, so I knew about the Brewers and the Bucks and the Packers. That was kind of it. My fiance is from Cincinnati, so I had been there. My college girlfriend actually was from Columbus, so I'd been to Columbus, and I'd been to some other, I'd been to Chicago, and then some other, St. Louis and some other cities, and I kind of had thought like, it's probably something similar to like a Cleveland, Columbus, etc. And when I got here and moved here, I actually realized the city is bigger. There's more to do, and it very much, I think, um, punches above the weight class that everyone I think puts it in. And I think
Yeah.
that's unfortunate because I think Milwaukee should be talked about as as a city like Chicago, as a city,
Right.
like Minneapolis. I don't really see a ton of difference there, other than I think the way people talk about it. And I
Yeah.
think if we're able to get the word out about Milwaukee, I think people will see the same thing that we all see. And when I moved here, I think there was this undercurrent going on of people like you and a lot of these other younger people who were trying to push Milwaukee to get out more, to be more, and to try to be a little bit more ambitious. And I think, we've been able to kind of come in and help with that. But I think that wave was kind of already there. And
Yeah.
what we've been able to do is, I think, just kind of give it that little bit of push, to give it that momentum.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hi to some of our other friends, Dave Larson, Peggy Williams-Smith, Roosevelt McCarter have joined us, interested in the conversation. Thanks, everybody. So rapid fire before we move on to some hot topics. What's
Yeah.
your favorite thing about Milwaukee? I know it's hard, but favorite thing.
Other than the Bucks.
Yes.
Uh, it's I love the local food scene here, and that's saying something because I'm not a big foodie. But
Hmm.
I have found it really nice to be able to go to a different kind of restaurant, whenever you want, and always, I think, be able to explore all the new neighborhoods that always have these great restaurants.
Yeah.
Um, Golf is obviously like incredible here. I love that, and I don't know how much tops going out on Deer Force One or pontoon boat.
Wow. Yes, I've seen that pontoon boat. That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay, so one of the things that we so appreciate about you and your family and the Bucks organization is your community involvement. So, we're definitely going to talk a little bit about, of course, the pandemic and the DNC and other things happening this summer. But I really think that this is such a great part of your story and how it's become so integral to how our community has evolved together and had this sense of community spirit. Are some of the things that you are all involved in our community? I know, some of the things that I've been keeping up with, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks Foundation. I
Hmm.
think some of the other things I've read about, March for Our Lives, gun violence that you've been involved in. What are some of the, hot items that you really are passionate about from a community involvement standpoint?
Like I love to I'm invested in the Sherman Phoenix and Tandem Restaurant with Julie Kaufman. I think those type of like double, triple bottom line type of investments and development, to me, I think are fascinating.
Mm,
And the ability to, I think, create a restaurant like Tandem, and or a space like the Sherman Phoenix, uh, with the idea that not only are we going to try to make it so that it's economical and profitable for its investors, but also good for the community, in a place where it's going to give community jobs. Those to me, I think, are really interesting and great ways, that I try to be involved. Um, Obviously, like, I'm a big supporter of democratic politics.
mhm.
Gun violence and gun prevention is a big thing for me, just because of how much it affects everything that we've done, and how much it's really, I think, affected just communities all over the country. It was something that I remember big when we were in the White House. We had the Sandy Hook incident, and it just hadn't kind of stopped. And
Yeah.
as someone who has nieces, who are going to school, and one day someone who will have kids who will be going to school, that fear of not knowing if that school is safe, and
Right.
that's something that I think is why that issue is important to me. And then it's really just about the city of Milwaukee, and kind of trying to do what we can to improve and make the city grow. To me,
Right.
that's kind of the engine for everything. Is if we can make the city grow, and hopefully that can be like a rising tide that lifts all boats, and we could start
Yes.
to work on education, segregation, and all these issues that are hitting the city. But as I like to say, Milwaukee's not the only city with those kind of issues.
Right.
Every city has those issues, and if we can help Milwaukee grow, hopefully that will help lead to some improvement in a lot of those areas as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And on behalf of so many people, I'll just myself say thank you if we don't enough, because I know there's a lot of energy that goes into that and passion as well. So you mentioned your fiance, Lauren, who is a great
Hmm.
lady in her own right. And I know you guys ended up having to postpone your wedding, correct?
Yeah. It was that was one of the weirder days I've ever had because I was going to lunch actually with Peggy Coakley.
Mm,
We were grabbing lunch on like I think March like 11th or something. So 2 weeks before before my wedding with Lauren. And as I'm about to sit down with Peggy, I get a phone call from my dad. And I assume that he, it was the NBA season or something was gonna, there was something going on. And the season hadn't been postponed yet. And I was like, "Hey Peggy, just give me a second. I need to take this." So I step out, say, "Hey," and my dad goes, "Hey, bad news. Your wedding's been postponed." And I was like, "Dad, like I'm about to sit down to lunch. This isn't funny. Like not the time for a joke.
oh
If you need
man.
anything." He was like, "No, I'm serious. We need to figure this out." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went to Peggy and I was like, "I am really sorry. I have to take this. Can we reschedule a lunch because my wedding just got postponed?"
Oh
I'm
gosh.
sure that's the first time she's ever had that happen to her at a lunch. So we figured it out. We were able to get another date on the books, and we uh, we go out to dinner with CJ and Ruthie Weatherly and
Okay.
Julie, and we're at dinner just trying to drink away the pain of the wedding having been postponed. And at dinner, we find out the NBA season's also being postponed.
Oh
Kind
gosh.
of when I think everything really hit, and we realized like, oh, this is like way bigger than everyone was expecting, and way
Yeah.
bigger than what I think even we realized. And
Wow.
so, you know, uh, it's been it's been a ride. We're hoping that this date doesn't have to get postponed again. But
Yeah.
we'll see. The
I'm
it
curious,
yeah.
did you guys do anything on your original date? Did you, like, even just the two of you do something or
So we went to Connecticut with my where my family was, and they threw us like a
nice,
big dinner. We had some of the sweatsuits that we were going to wear on our wedding day, so we wore those,
nice.
and we FaceTimed in Lauren's family. So it was a weird day because we were like, oh, this was supposed to be our wedding weekend.
Yeah.
But it was still able to celebrate something, and now we've got we'll have 2 or 3 wedding anniversary dates that we'll be able to celebrate.
More to celebrate. Somebody, a
Exactly.
comment just came through that said she's hoping she can still have her daughter's wedding in Nashville August 15th. So we're cheering on for Elaine too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, of course, I wish both of you the best as your new wedding date approaches. I know you'll
Thank
have a
you.
great life together. So, moving on to COVID-19, and as you said, that was a big day for you when both of those announcements came on the same day, and things really started to deteriorate from there. Some of the things that I know your organization did pretty much right away are like your employee to go meals, employee payroll, emergency relief fund.
Hmm.
You guys really jumped into action. And I think those were kind of the two first things that the public knew about in terms of your outward giving to employees.
Yeah, when this all happened, I think it took a few days, for everyone to kind of just realize like, okay, what's the impact going to be? And what you started to see was people who were going to be affected were were people who couldn't afford to be affected the most, and it was going to be through no fault of their own that they weren't going to be able to work events, that jobs were going to be lost, and I think for one that kind of put in perspective, even like as upset Lauren and I was about our wedding being postponed, and upset as I was that the NBA season was being postponed, it put everything in perspective. Like, okay, these are still things that can be rescheduled, and we
Right.
still have, our jobs, our health, etc. And you start to realize, okay, like what can we do to help? And one of the things that we Giannis, said he wanted to do, and we wanted to make sure that we were part of that as well, was giving back to the workers who make Fiserv Forum run, and who when everyone comes to the game, work their asses off to ensure that Fiserv Forum's the best arena in the country. So we set up
And
this
friendly
really
people too, Alex. I mean,
great,
friendly
just great.
people.
Like the videos of after games or concerts, everyone dancing and singing and screaming, like it's just awesome, and it's why I think everyone loves coming to the arena.
Yeah.
Giannis's dunks help, but it's a service business, and so having great people working there, and it's why I think we get the best talent there is because everyone has fun, loves working there, and they know that they're part of our family, and that we're going to try to take care of them and have their back, especially in times of need. So that's what that was. We then tried. We did the food to go. We had all this food that we could have either thrown out because we couldn't use it for any events anymore, and we realized, let's actually use this as a way to give back to the employees and let them have them come and pick up some meals, as another way of just saying like, hey, look, thank you for everything that you're doing. Here's
Right.
how we can help. And then just also listening to what other some of the community needs were. So Ask Up MKE, where we're helping coordinate the assemblage and distribution of over 2 million masks. We just announced this partnership with Feeding America and Tandem, where we'll be giving out meals as well. So, and we'll be doing a bigger press conference on that tomorrow morning. So the thing really is on community involvement for us. Senator Cole kind of set the tone, and everything that he had done, and being one of the great philanthropists in our nation. And the way that we, from ownership all the way on down, just believe like, hey, we're a fabric of Milwaukee. The entire city is our family, and it's our duty to be a good corporate citizen. And for as much as the community gives to us in support, cheering, fandom, etc., we want to make sure that we're able to give back and be just as supportive to the city.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, what has kind of generally the impact been, during this time on the Deer District, the entertainment block, things that are happening surrounding the Fiserv Forum?
It's been tough, I mean, like, Good City Brewing, is a great local brewery, small business. This was playoff time. This is where you make the money. This is when we have the 20,000 people in the arena and 5,000 people outside the arena, and they're there 3 hours before the game, road games, etc. I mean, I remember being in the Mecca during a playoff game, and it was a line out the door. And I think that's where that's where I think you're seeing the kind of the effect that's happening on the Deer District is, and it's not just Deer District, it's all across the city. But Good City Brewing, Drink Wisconsinably, Punch Bowl Social, and there's I think it's just a symbol of everything that's going on throughout the country and the city. And it's tough. And so we're working with all of our partners because we don't want anyone to go out of business, and we don't want
Right.
anyone to leave the Deer District. This isn't their fault. And so we're trying to work with all of our partners and everyone in the Deer District on, what does rent relief look like? What does, um, you know, um, credits look like? And just trying to see, how can we make this work for everyone so that when this does finally end, and it will, and we'll come out of
Yeah.
this stronger, that the Deer District is ready to, again, breathe that life into the city that it was breathing before.
Yeah, I mean, the energy is phenomenal. On a typical entertainment night, whether it was a game, a concert, Chris Crindle Market, whatever it was,
Hmm.
even watching, other sports events on big screens down there, and so many things, the energy was just phenomenal. Is it eerie right now for you to, like go there and see an empty arena? It must be kind of a strange feeling.
It's it's more tough when so Laura and I will try to do a walk anytime it's nice out, and we'll walk to the arena, and you're just kind of there, and you're like, man, like we'd be in the second round of the playoffs right now or the conference finals, and this place would just be packed, and it would just be the city would be ablaze and it'd be buzzing, and now it's just kind of like an old western where you feel like there's
Oh
the
gosh.
Regis going across the street. And so
Wow.
it's tough. But again, like you then look at Good City and Punch Bowl, and you're like, like this was their money making time. This was why they came down there and why they took the risk of coming into the Deer District, was because they wanted to be a part of that. Uh, and right now they can't, and that sucks. And it's, it's brutal for, I think all of Third Street as well, who gets that overflow, and like, everyone just down there. It's tough, and it's why, like, Lauren and I try to eat local as much as we can. Try to order in from a local restaurant as much as we can, just to help
Right.
support all of our spots.
So what are you thinking for the playoffs? What are you wanting to give us some hope, or to
Look,
everything's uncertain?
I feel optimistic, and I think all the reports and all the media reports are that, look, everyone wants to finish the season, but the number one thing is the health and safety of not only the players but everyone involved. And I think we're learning more about this disease. Testing is starting to ramp up and become more prevalent. We're seeing potential positives in treatment and vaccines, and even though those might be months or something away, I think we're learning a little more and seeing a little bit more about how we can deal with COVID and still maybe go about our lives in some way or form.
Yeah,
And I think the NBA is looking at that and trying to figure that out. And I feel optimistic that we'll be able to finish a season. We're not going to risk the lives of anyone to do that, but if we can make sure that we're doing this in a safe and smart way, I think we should, and I think everyone, from the players on to ownership and the league, I think all the interests are aligned, and so as long
yeah.
as we can do it safely, we're going to make sure we're going to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting for so many industries, and of course, sports and entertainment being one of the biggest. Coming out
Mm-hmm.
of this with new ways of doing things, to make sure that we can keep entertaining and keeping people feeling excited about just life in general. So we're looking forward to the outcome. We're all hoping and praying for something to happen for those NBA playoffs. Moving on to the DNC, this is
Ah.
of course hot topic. That you're super involved in. And, there's, as we all know, the back history of having that unbelievably exciting time when the announcement came in. I don't think this photo was from the announcement, but from,
That's from
or
the
when,
bid.
yeah, from the bid. So, and now here people sit, everyone again is hoping, anticipating, everybody wants to have some aspect live here in Milwaukee in August. And I know that recently that, the decision was made to at least be able to do something virtually if needed. So again, I
Mm-hmm.
think the misconception that it was meant to make the convention virtual is under my understanding not really what that was, but at least to allow for aspects of it to be. So what are you thinking might happen in August, could happen? What do you want to share to kind of settle people, or to, give some direction? But, we'd love to hear
Yeah,
some of your thoughts.
I don't look. I don't know if this will settle anyone. I think the thing with everything, the NBA, any event that is looking at, my wedding in August, the person who's on
Mhm.
here's wedding in August. There's just a lot of uncertainty, and that's just kind
Yeah.
of the nature of the beast right now. I think that the DNC is trying to make sure that they can be as flexible as possible. They want an in-person convention. I think they want to be able to hold something, and not keep their promise to Milwaukee and Wisconsin of what this was, hopefully going to be. It's obviously not going to be the same event that it was going to be 6 months ago or when we got this. But I think they're still hoping, and we're just going to have to see.
Right.
We're going to
Now,
have to see where.
Alex,
Yeah.
I've got a quick question. What do you, I think now I think maybe this week we're now just under 90 days to
Mm-hmm.
the rescheduled convention date. Do you think just even what's been happening with some of our largest organizations in the city, where people are laid off and furloughed and, not in their roles that they were in, and I'm talking hospitality, events, hotels, things that are critical to the success of the DNC. Do you think that has an impact on how plans for the DNC might move over, considering we're less than 90 days out now?
Um, yes and no. I mean, I think if we needed to, ramp up, like the DNC is not going to choose August 1st what's going on.
Yeah.
There's going to be, it's probably going to be mid June, early July. Like, okay, this is where we're going. And I think that should give us enough time to be able to ramp up and be prepared. Um, my hope is that, as the state starts to reopen, businesses start to see kind of what capacity looks like. We start to see maybe how people start to go about their lives again. And are able to start ramping up, and then we'll get a sense of what the convention will look like, with I
Mhm.
think enough time to ramp up if need be. The one
Right.
thing I know about Milwaukee is, when we need to get prepared for something and take advantage of a moment, we're going to, and we're going
Yeah.
to be ready, and we're not going to, let the moment pass if it comes. So, I'm not worried about the industry being able to get there, if needed. I'm more worried about the fact that, this was going to be a big shot in the arm for the city,
Mhm.
and this was going to put us on the global stage. And not to say that that's not going to happen, because I already think Milwaukee has been put on the global stage, just by
Mhm.
beating out Miami and Houston for the convention. People are already starting to take notice of Milwaukee and seeing it as a top tier city, like people should. Um, and just by getting the convention wasn't going to grow Milwaukee on its own. We were going to need to then do our work in years 1, 2, and 3 afterward. But now with all of these businesses being hurt and struggling because of this, my hope is that there is still able to get some in form of in-person convention, whether it's thousands of people or something like that, so that some of these businesses can get a little bit of an injection and some more business that they otherwise were not. But
Yeah.
the DNC is going to make sure that the health and safety of everyone involved is number one, and
Right.
they're not going to put anyone's life at risk, just to hold the convention.
Yeah, and I really do believe that the spirit related to the convention is definitely going to have to be all about collaboration. And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, they picked our city. One reason is because of the spirit of the people,
Yep.
and that is going to be huge. No matter what happens for the DNC here, that's going to really be what pulls us through. Um, just kind of as we're wrapping up, what's kind of a few little tidbits, maybe your outlook for, tomorrow and beyond, getting past the pandemic? I know we've talked about so many topics, but just, personally, what's kind of your mindset moving forward?
You know, mindset moving forward is, this is one of the most unprecedented times we've had. But what I also know is, especially our generation, we've lived through shocks to the system. We've been through 9/11. We went through the Great Recession, and now this, and we've always come out of it, more together and stronger. And my hope is that as a community and as a city, um, as we start to see some light at the end of the tunnel and start to move past a lockdown, and start to move back into what a semblance of life is like, that we do it together, and that we do it as a community, and that we realize, like, hey, look, there are some shocks to the system that we've gone through, but we've gone through this before, and we're going to figure it out. People are going to come up with new ideas on masks that make them look really chic and hip and cool, and
You're talking my language now.
exactly, and like that's going to be something that's cool. And so, and that will should bring down again the ability to spread the disease more than than anything. It's doing that type of stuff, kind of without complaint, and understand that, like, it's not just about me, it's about everyone else. And
Mhm.
so, my hope is, look, this is not the end. This is terrible and an awful situation, but it's also not the end of Milwaukee.
Right.
Milwaukee is not going to cease to exist after this. I just reiterate, like, our generation just been through a lot. I mean, how many
Right.
generations say that they've been through this many shocks of the system? 9/11, once in a lifetime event, right?
Mhm.
Great Recession, once in a generation event, and now this. Like, we've been through a lot, and we've gotten through them all, and we've
Right.
come on the other side even better and stronger. And I have no doubt that after this, Milwaukee will figure out a way to bounce back, and will show the country that Milwaukee is a place you want to be.
Well, Alex, we certainly appreciate everything that you, your family, Lauren, the Bucks, the list goes on in your involvement and your leadership and participation and guidance through hard times like this is definitely appreciated and for sure not overlooked. But I have a quick question. Who's
Yeah.
giving you your quarantine haircuts? Are you doing that, or is Lauren? It's
No.
looking
Oh my
good.
God. So I hadn't had a haircut in. So G's Clippers finally just opened up, and that's where I go to get my
Awesome.
haircut. So I was finally able to go yesterday. I booked like an 8 a.m. appointment. I was like, I'm coming in. And my hair hadn't been as long as it had been, I think, ever. I walked in and, like, they didn't even recognize me. My hair was so long.
Wow.
Lauren actually likes my hair that long, but
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. So I finally yesterday was able to go in, get a haircut. G's Clippers. It was great. They were
Nice.
taking all the safety precautions, masks, cleaning, etc. So it was good. It was nice to
Nice.
finally get some of that hair off my head.
Exactly. And I know just in about an hour from now, I think, Joe
Mm,
Biden has a virtual
yeah,
event happening, right?
he's coming. He's back on the campaign trail. For anyone interested, at 3:30 today, we'll be doing a virtual rally here in Milwaukee. It should be a great event for any Democrats or supporters of Biden who are interested. You should definitely join in. It should be fun, and it'll be nice to see the vice president.
Awesome. Well, Alex, truly, I am honored and super grateful that you are guest number one on David Caruso Live. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Take care, be well, say hi to Lauren and the rest of
I
your
will.
family. And next is one of your other friends. We are going to bring into stream here the infamous Dave Sobelman. And hold on one second, I just need to find him in the queue, because he is the guy who is serving up these burgers and Bloody Marys, all good things. So hold on one second. I just want to make sure that Dave is here. Oh man, where did he go? Hold on. Hold on. I hope he's here. Hold on one second, guys, because it's key that we talk to Dave. I want to just see if he is. Hold on. Don't worry, it's going to be worth it. I'm just making sure that he is logging back in, because I think, unfortunately, he was lost in the stream. Oh, what a bummer. Okay, here's the thing that I want to share as hopefully he is coming back. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure that we get to him, because hold on one second. This is going to be funny, because I'm going to call him and tell him to log back in. I'm going to have to tell him to hurry up. Here's Katie Ann. Thank you, Katie, for watching. Cindy, Olga. Hey, Olga, good to see you.
Hello, we are not available now.
Cicely, good to see you. Thanks for taking the time. Okay, here we are. Yay, he's back. Hold on. There he is. All right, go Bucks. My friends, the amazing surviving the virus, Dave Sobelman from Sobelman's Pub and Grill. You made me sweat over here, my friend.
Sorry, man. We don't know what happened, but sorry.
No worries, no worries. I'm so happy that you are here because I have to say, Dave, that I have been, as you know, quite active on social media during stay at home. And the person I see the most every day is you. You're everywhere. You're delivering. You're dropping off. You're organizing. You're doing such cool things. So
Thank
when
you.
I knew that I was going to be doing David Caruso Live, I just really wanted to have you and chat with you. So how are you doing?
We're doing well. Of course, if the restaurants were open for dine-in, we'd be doing better. But I have to say that, we figured out a way to get through this. We're using third-party and delivery services, which I had already been using for some time, and using social media, Facebook. It has been bad, but it has not been maybe as bad as it has been for some others.
Exactly. So, some of everyone knows you, but for viewers that might not be joining us from Milwaukee, your signature items, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, the burgers, absolutely incredible. And Bloody Marys. Here, I want to show people this shot of the burgers. Unbelievable. I love that you are so well known for not only the burgers, but check out, people, these Bloody Marys. What on earth?
Thank you.
Is this something special, or is that really how you serve it?
Not all of them are that big, and we don't serve many of those every day. As a matter of fact, we've only sold a handful. I can't believe customers still come in and want that during the order. They still order that for to delivery or to take home. Most of our Bloody Marys are just regular sized Bloody Marys. They do come with 12 or 13 ingredients, but that one is an extreme example. We and in truth, many of the crazy things that people know me for were just things that we did for Facebook, and the attempts just to build our Facebook page and get more likes and bring attention to the brand. And little did we know that I guess you cannot go too far in Wisconsin when it comes to Bloody Marys.
It's so true. We have so many people making comments right now. I could really use a Sobelman Bloody Mary right about now. Michelle Battles, woot woot, Sobelman's. Tracy, the best bloody, emphasized. So a lot of your fans tuning in to root you on. And so some of the things that I was so taken by that you have been doing over the past couple of months is, I know, deliveries to frontline heroes. You have a program that you were doing, burgers for seniors, which I just love. Tell us some of the things you're doing to adapt.
Well, I'm doing those things, and I do those just because I like to do those. I'm a nice guy. Fortunately for me, I understood early on. I remember that's a recent delivery to the hospital
I love that you're using a wheelchair to transport your food.
Yeah, many of the nurses were using wheelchairs. Luckily for me, I'd been using the third party delivery services for some time. I recognized that there are many that they don't want to get up off the couch. They don't want to go out to eat. They want their food delivered, and so. For about a year before the Safer at Home order, I'd signed up with all of them. So, what they do, and they were well integrated into our system. The bartenders understood how to use the third party services, how to, get to the drivers the correct bag without making any mistakes and, giving the wrong bag to the wrong driver, blah, blah, blah. So that helped us get through. We weren't scrambling at the last minute trying to figure out a way to get our food to our customers, because we had already been, again, we were part of that third party delivery service for some time.
What about the burgers for seniors? What was that all about? Was that something special that you just came up with, or what was that?
Well, we know people. We might know the seniors, of course. They're the most vulnerable. They need to, stay away from everyone. And sometimes we were hearing stories that they were locked there would be seniors locked in their homes for weeks with no one coming to visit them. Of course, even if they, most had family that wanted to visit, but they understood that it would be dangerous to go if you're out and you're in the community and you go see your 75, 80-year-old grandmother, grandfather. That's dangerous. You don't know where you've been and what you might have picked it up. And of course, the most vulnerable are our seniors. And so we had to figure out a way to get them there. We wanted to just show some love for them, and they would of course get a kick out of seeing themselves on Facebook. So we put on Facebook, hey, is there a senior that you think, we asked the question of our Facebook friends, is there a senior that you recommend? And we took so many seniors and we went out and we delivered to them, and we found ways to we keep our social distancing. We set the food down on the porch. They come out and pick up the food, and then we take the picture, blah, blah, blah. But that was fun. And a lot of the seniors, they really appreciated it.
The pictures were great. And I think that at the end of all of this, there should be a big collage made of you and all your selfies, wearing your mask, making deliveries, working with your team. I think on a wall in the original Sobelman's pub, we need to have a collage of Dave in your mask selfies. They're awesome. I love them.
Thank you. I don't know, but I'm thinking maybe people are getting sick of seeing me. But
No, we need more. So now you have locations, of course, the original on St. Paul Avenue near downtown, Mequon, the Marquette campus, and I think a franchise in Waukesha. Is that all of your locations?
That's it. Of course, there are the 3 stands at the Pfizer Forum where the Bucks play.
Yes. That's so cool. I love that aspect of the forum too, that all of those local folks are involved. So right now you are still doing curbside and delivery. Is that still your current status?
Yeah, that is it. In Ozaukee County, we have the location in Mequon, which is in Ozaukee County, and we are able to open. We are like soft opening. If I know you, if you are a salesman, that sort of thing, we're like really trying to learn to be cleaner than we were before, sanitize better than we did before, and somehow social distancing while dining. That location will serve a handful of dine-in customers a day, just for the kind of like soft openings. We've done that for the last 2 days, but we think all locations hopefully will be open. Of course, I mean, apparently everything will be open next Tuesday.
Nice. So I know a lot of people are looking forward to that. And of course, you're always online. A lot of information you can find on your website too. Social media on Instagram and Facebook can definitely keep up with you and your crew. And, I just have to say thank you for being so positive and spreading the joy on social media and in our community over these past few months as a restaurateur and someone who has been so engaged in our community for so many years. That attitude is contagious and it does not go overlooked. So we really, really appreciate it. What is kind of your outlook moving forward? What are you hoping for and thinking about?
I'm excited to reopen. I've been in business 21 years. I've got deeper pockets than my staff, and I'm looking forward to opening and having staff, start to make some money again. We've not closed at the original location one day since this thing started. Not one. We were even open on Easter. The other 2 locations closed only on Easter Sunday. We've been open every single day. If I have business, that's great. But if I don't, it's not so great. But either or, my staff has been working. It's cost me quite a bit of money, but my staff has been working. They don't get the amount of hours that they used to get, and they don't make the tips that they used to make. So for me, being able to open up again, serve my customers, have the staff members go back to making money. I know they've got bills to pay. That would make me and the wife happy, I think. My wife, who's disappeared. Melanie, want to come say hi?
Have her say hi if she wants. She's a great
Come on, baby. She's shy. Here she comes.
Good. Okay.
I better have hides. Somebody's supposed to make me look good, beauty.
Hi, David. How are you?
Hey.
Hi.
There she is.
You guys are doing a great job.
We're having fun. We're glad that you stopped by to say hello. All right, my friend, thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it. I wanted to talk to you and to see you on David Caruso Live. You are continuing to do awesome things. I can't wait now. I'm going to come to St. Paul Avenue's location very soon, and I am excited to have a burger and just to be with people and have a good time. But overall, thank you for what you're doing. And of course, I wish you and the Sobelman crew the best of luck moving forward.
Okay, losing you a bit, but thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care, my friend. And everybody, thank you for joining me again. I just wanted to let you know that tomorrow, same time, same place, tomorrow afternoon, Facebook Live at Events by DC, Greg Marcus from the Marcus Corporation will be joining me tomorrow. So thank you for today's premiere episode. I appreciate Alex Lasry, Dave Sobelman. Thank you so much. I will see all of you tomorrow right here, same time, 2:00 p.m. Central on Events by DC, Facebook for David Caruso Live with Greg Marcus. Thank you all so much and enjoy the rest of your day.